Okay, so this is just restarting. We had a technical difficulty on the last cast, and I'm hoping that people will be able to join me, come back and join me on this cast. Um, I just want to let people know where I am. So just bear with me. I need to let. Okay, let's see if that works. Hi, Lauren. Well done. Ah, okay. I'm pretty certain people will find it. Okay, if they want to. All right. So, Lauren, how did you find me? Let me just put it on the Facebook page. Hang on one second, people. I just want to make sure people that want to get back can. Okay, so there's Tyler, there's Isabel. Okay, you guys, well done. Gotta love going live. Absolutely, Tyler. And you know something? No sound for Nana. Anybody else got a problem with sound? Ah, the notification of the video came up. Ah, excellent. So Nana's saying she has no sound. Has anybody else not, does everybody else have sound? Let me put it that way. All good for Tyler. Good. All right. So Nana, okay, so if she can't hear me. Oh, she's got it now. Okay. There we go. I was just about to type you a message, Nana, because obviously sometimes it does take a little time just to connect through. Wow. So that was a little bit exciting. I guess the adrenaline going. I wonder if my heart rate went up. Yeah, a little bit. I, you know, it's like life, all right? We don't want these things to happen, but they will. And how we deal with them is what it's all about. And so, well done, Jody. Yeah, I was busy writing to Jody, say, put up the new link. And then, of course, realized, because Jody told me that, it also went dead for her, so she couldn't put up the link. So thank you for teaching me that reality, Jody. For some reason, I thought I was the only one that was affected and that you guys could still see each other. Yeah. So never mind. Those that want to be here, I guess, are, and we'll put it that way. So how many of you think that this is well worthwhile? Remember, never put off until tomorrow what you can put off until the day after. As I think I explained, well, it's interesting, Lauren. I had probably been dropped out of the cast for a good 30 seconds before I put up the note because I thought it would trigger itself back in again, but it didn't. And that's when I decided to type. Because I'm sort of sitting there talking to myself, going, I hope that's going to reset itself, but it didn't. So, happens, right? Life's like that. you know, and as I was saying earlier today, if you if you want everything to go right, don't be a YouTuber. Or if you want everybody to be kind, don't be a YouTuber. You're going to find reality is very different. How about Marie Osmond said this, and I think it's so cute. She said, if you're going to be able to look back on something and laugh about it, you might as well laugh about it now. Oh, all right. Well, I was giving Lauren a shout out. Yes. Lauren, thank you for reminding me. The reason I was giving you a shout out is because you've had a really difficult week or so of external stuff coming at you. And I really think you've handled it incredibly well. You know, you've got two um, really difficult situations going on in your real life, and I don't need to tell everybody what they are, but just so everybody knows. Um, and you know that that has impacted you emotionally, and the things I hear you doing, and the things I see you are putting in place, just impress me, because you are really working hard at keeping control of your emotions, and not getting into resentment, or and looking at it and trying to learn from each situation. And I do believe, Lauren, from the bottom of my heart, this was your year for learning. I don't think the new Lauren will see things the way that the Lauren of last year did. Do you know what I mean? For some reason, I just believe that you have grown and grown up so much in this past year. And that is why I wanted to give you a shout out, because I really see you working hard, at keeping control in a healthy way. Yes, as long as you've got something to keep you occupied and to get me out of my head, I seem to be okay. Which is why I always say that if you are in overwhelm or overly stressed, do something creative. Because overly stressed means you're in your left brain trying to fix problems in your head. If you do something creative, it's your right brain, and it will balance you out. Does that make sense, Lauren? So the fact that you're doing scrapbooking, wonderful. All right. And it doesn't matter how small the creative thing is. It doesn't have to be a work of art or anything. It just means to get out of your left brain and get into your right brain. If you take, a marker and start writing on the windows, just, wonder whether this looks good on glass, do something. It doesn't really matter what it is. Try and keep it off the walls, though. Really, it's a bit more difficult to remove it from the walls, from my experience. By the way, I have a whole box full of stuff that I'm taking down to the girls. I'm not sure how much time I will actually have to play with the girls, but I'm really looking forward to it. And I thought it was the cutest thing. I don't know if I told you, but Benji told me that the other day, Juliana was talking to him, and Juliana said to Daddy, "Daddy, do you know that Mama Sal paints pictures for me?" How cute is that? Oh, Erin's saying that sounds familiar. I get stuck in my head too much and start overthinking everything, and then it makes me depressed and overwhelmed. Absolutely. If you can see that pattern, Erin, you are ahead of the game. So my question is, how do you feel after somebody's been, working on your hair? Do you feel depressed after somebody's finished plaiting up your, or coloring your hair for you? That is what I want you to think about. Because I think some of the best therapy for you is somebody maybe doing that, or giving you a massage, or maybe a manicure or a pedicure, something that is girly. I think is very good. Yeah, and pink, obviously, Erin, because it's you and Manon. But I really think it's important that I believe whenever you are getting too far into your right brain, that you might want to. And by the way, if you can't find somebody to do it for you, think about how you can, in some way, be creative for somebody else, because it definitely works. Right, exactly. Erin's saying that after somebody works on her hair, absolutely not. I feel very loved and pretty. Well, that's because you are, honey. The reason that you feel that is because it's true in your right brain. In your left brain, the one that analyzes it, you are probably, quite something else sometimes, all right? And, I think you also will see that when you're in your right brain, your level of hope changes, your ability to solve problems change because you're back in balance, all right? You've balanced, you're not overthinking anymore, you're just thinking and dealing with life at a balanced level. So I want you to remember that, Erin. Whenever you start that overthinking thing, go, hang on, hang on. I know the answer to this. I need to do something creative or have somebody work on me, right? Or have somebody work on me, because you know that when somebody does your hair or your makeup for you or whatever, you feel so much better. One of the greatest gifts, I, had some friends of mine who took it upon themselves to actually go into the cancer wards and do makeup for the patients in the cancer wards. And I thought that was, an incredible gift. Make people who feel that they look like death warmed up, make them look pretty, and they will be pretty. All right. So, Lauren, I think that was part of your learning for this year as well. All right. Don't think it, do something about it. You're right. You kept looking at what the problem with your leg, but you weren't doing anything about it. You just kept looking at it going, oh, I guess it'll get better. Well, hello, it wasn't getting better, was it? And so, but we all fall into the trap. And so, Lauren, I want to thank you, because not only did you teach yourself a lesson, I think you taught everybody around you a lesson as well. Somebody once said that honest criticism is hard to take, particularly from a relative, a friend, an acquaintance, or a stranger. From anybody, in other words. Or only Woody Allen would come up with this one. You can live to be 100 if you give up all the things that make you want to live to be 100. But by the way, I do have to say this, and thank you, um, for Jody and Beth and everybody else that helped me on this one. I actually was talking to my dietitian lady when I went there, and she was asking me what I ate during a day, and I kept adding in, and the super frosty. That's a chocolate covered. I could have one now, couldn't I? A chocolate covered ice cream. And do you know that I literally have changed my eating pattern so much that I can fit one of those into my day. You see, my motivation is to do my carbs well enough that I can still have an ice cream for dessert. It's just like um, everything's possible once you know how to do it, right? And so thank you all for teaching me how to do it. Now, some of you will totally get the humor of this quote. The more you weigh, the harder you are to kidnap. So stay safe, eat cake. I've got a feeling Pat would have enjoyed that one. The old Pat. Or how about this one? Dear life, when I said, can my day get any worse? It wasn't, it was rhetorical, not a challenge. Yeah, I always say to people, don't ask questions like that. You may find out. Oh, and this one. How many of you relate to this one? Story of my life coming up. Cleaning up is just putting stuff in a less obvious place. I don't know about you, but I can, I'm pretty good now about putting things in their place. And then, every now and then I find a new place that's better. And then I go, I wonder where that was. It was just like, I know I found a new home for that. I said, as of now, that's going to be the place for these things. Only problem is I cannot for the life of me remember where it is. For example, for example, I've got some of the electrical plates missing in my living room because of repainting. And, I know I put them away carefully. If any of you know where I put them, let me know. Because I can't find them. I got a feeling they're probably in the garage somewhere. Now, how about this one? How many of you really need to hear this one? And this one is worth putting on your mirror. I want to be like a caterpillar. Eat a lot, sleep for a while, and wake up beautiful. I think it's so gorgeous. Eat a lot, sleep for a while, and wake up beautiful. Okay, so Aaron's saying, "Oh, I'm way too easy to kidnap right now. I better do something about it." Yeah, exactly. So you see, this is the whole thing, Aaron. When people are saying, about you go, I really need an extra helping now because I want to be less easy to kidnap. Okay, and Jodie's saying about the hiding thing. She said, "That's me. I hide it so well I can't find it. Imagine the Christmas gifts I have for Lionel in this house." Yes, they're probably one day you're going to find them. Well, yeah, it's the same thing. Remember me? I've got these these gray outfits, winter outfits, pants and tops. They're all in a place somewhere in my house, and I don't know where I put them. So I haven't done gray as a color very much this year. Yeah, and Tyler's saying waking up beautiful is definitely a daily challenge for him. How about this one? It just says taking naps sounds so childish. I prefer to call them horizontal life pauses. And I find the older you get, the more of those horizontal life pauses you actually can do with. And there's a really good one here, but I can't repeat it because it's got some tough language in it that I need not repeat here. um, all right, now you've got to have a sense of humor to say this one. I think my guardian angel drinks. How many of you think your guardian angel has gone on vacation or got, a little bit out of focus? And by the way, I cannot tell you the number of times in the days when I used to do a lot of socializing and I'd have a glass in my hand and I'd say to somebody, I wonder if you could do me a really big favor. And they say, sure, what's that? I said, could you stop drinking because you're beginning to go a bit fuzzy? And it's so funny how people would react to that, because you need to say it with a totally straight face as you taking another sip. I wonder if you could do me a really big favor and just stop drinking for a while because you're beginning to go a bit fuzzy. What can I say? Yeah. And to think I still have friends, isn't that amazing? Really, when you think about it. Yes, exactly, Aaron. Aaron's saying, sorry, doctor, I can't follow my diet today because I don't want to get kidnapped. Now, the interesting thing is, Aaron, I've done all these right things, and my weight suddenly started to go up again, and we have no idea why. And then I realized, to my horror, that what it was serious water retention. I mean, I don't know if you can see how puffy I am, but I am in serious water retention. And it's just like, wow, I don't know what happened to me, but that really was quite something. And I literally put on like about 5 pounds of water. You knew it was water because you could almost hear it sloshing around. And then I luckily found some diuretics that I'd had from some time ago, and luckily they still work apparently. And I dropped 3 pounds overnight just by taking a diuretic. I didn't take one today because I didn't want to keep jumping up from doing the broadcast, but I will take another one tomorrow. All right, now this is somebody with a great sense of humor. My fake plants died because I didn't pretend to water them. By the way, have any of you heard about watering your plants with ice cubes? Well, Hassan is saying, hi, Mama Sal. Haven't seen you for a while in Judy's vlogs. I'm going down on Sunday. Well, actually, I'm going down to do something with Benji on Sunday, but I will be back to visit the girls and play with them. So you'll be seeing me in the vlogs, making trouble as usual. I've got all sorts of stuff I'm taking down to play with the girls with. I'm not sure how much time I will have, but we're going to do fun stuff. I'm really looking forward to it. I always have a problem though when I'm playing with the girls, Hassan, because I get so involved I forget to take video. And what I've done is I've actually trained Judy. If what I'm doing is amusing to you, make sure you put some of it on my camera as well so that I get it. But thank you so much. I gather that you enjoy it when I play with the girls. Don't you love it when they're trying to teach me stuff and I'm stupid? I love intentionally being stupid because they get so frustrated with me. And it's just like 1 and 1 makes what? And the other thing is I intentionally call them by the wrong name sometimes so that when I do it by accident, they will think I'm playing with them. And it's my new trick. It's like I'm when I get up in the morning and I get it right, I make sure I log it. Okay, so Mia is wearing pink today, and Kira is wearing blue or whatever the thing is, and I keep that in my mind for the day, but the next day they've changed their clothes. It's very frustrating for me. So then I've got a 50-50 chance the next day, Hassan, of getting it right. And I just watch their reaction and I go, okay, that was wrong. Now I've got to, in my mind, change those clothes over again. How many of you think you actually enjoy your life, regardless of the bad days? Because, there are going to be some days that are bad. How many of you actually think that life's pretty good for you, considering? I mean, are you still breathing? Do you still have friends? Is there anybody in your life that loves you? When you look at it, I think that overall we're pretty lucky people. And Hassan, I think the reason that I so enjoy my trips down to see the girls is because I get to play. And at some level, I think the girls understand that. Once I get there and the sort of and the sort of the first bit is over with, it's like, okay, fine, now what are we going to do? And then they will drag me around sometimes, literally. Mama Sal, come upstairs. Mama Sal, come here and do this. Okay, fine. And then it's quite funny because occasionally, Benji gets quite concerned because he wants to talk to me about something serious. And then, and it's like, Okay. And I have to sort of change my hat from being a fun Mama Sal to being, Sal the mentor type person. It's very difficult for me to change those hats sometimes. How about this one? How many of you agree with this one? Wisdom comes from experience, but experience is often the result of a lack of wisdom. In other words, sometimes you've just got to mess it up to learn. Yeah, Tyler's saying, he can't complain. There are lots of folks that have it way worse than he does. Yes. Now, that doesn't make it better for you. But you know something? I think on the general scheme of things, the more grateful we are, the happier we are. And some of you will have found that out. If you can genuinely start each day by writing down 5 things you're grateful for, your day will be happier. By the way, sometimes I have to do that twice a day because I let somebody get into my head. And then sometimes it's more than that. All right, Reba McEntire, well-known country singer, said, to succeed in life, you need 3 things: a wishbone, a backbone, and a funny bone. A wishbone, a backbone, and a funny bone. Hi, Roxanne. From the San Francisco Bay Area, so pretty. Wow, that is interesting. Roxanne, can I repeat that? I don't know you well enough to automatically repeat what you say. I want to make sure that it's okay. I know the people in the chat can see it, but I would like to do that. Make sure it's okay to put it on for the rebroadcast. Because that is so true. Okay, thank you, Roxanne. Roxanne's saying, hi, Mama Sal, greetings from the San Francisco Bay Area. And life has been challenging, but I do try to remember and appreciate what I can do. And appreciate what I do have and try not to compare my difficulties to that of others. Yes, I quite agree, right? Which is, it's just one step at a time. It's one, I saw a really nice quote somewhere today where it said, is it really a bad day, or you spending the day obsessing about the one bad thought you had 20 minutes ago? Do any of you know what I mean? It's like it wasn't a bad day until this happened, but you stayed focusing on this thing that was upsetting you, and you're still focusing on it, and so therefore you're still upset. It's when you let it go, which is what our broadcast was. By the way, if you missed today's lunchtime broadcast, it was all about letting go. And I gave a number of examples of things that happened to me and other viewers, and how just by realizing what was going on, they could let go of stuff and get on with the business of actually enjoying their life. How about this for a great quote? How about aspire to inspire before we expire? Aspire to inspire before we expire. Yeah. Roxanne is saying it's a constant effort. I haven't mastered it at all. Do you know something? Be glad that you haven't mastered it. Were you listening about the eating thing, Roxanne? And because the reason I'm saying be grateful that you haven't mastered it, because if you've mastered it, you probably wouldn't be still here on Earth. You'd have a halo and wings somewhere. So I always go, the reason I'm still around is because I still have stuff to learn. I haven't mastered it yet. I've got a lot of time left. It's very important to understand that. And I don't know about the rest of you, but even at my great age, I am amazed that every day comes along and I'm still looking at stuff and going, I cannot believe I live. I lived this long and I still didn't know this. Oh, Roxanne just popped in. Well, we're so glad you did, Roxanne. Pop in again. How about this is more from Dr. Seuss. We should actually do more of those quotes, Jody, when I think about it, right? Think left and think right, and think low and think high. Oh, the things you can think up if only you try. So think left, think right, think low, think high. And oh, the things you can think of if you only try. In other words, whatever your problem is, see it from all sides. Don't just, get focused on in this little bit. Be nice to nerds. You may end up working for one. We all could. Hi, Darlene. Good to see you. Welcome. How did you find us? I love it when people just pop in from nowhere. It's always a pleasure. Big hugs to you. Good to see you. Today you're quite sad. Okay, do you want to talk about it, Darlene? First of all, big hug to you. And let us know if you want to tell us. By the way, if you want to tell the group that's on chat but not the other people, just tell me not to repeat it. Does that make sense, Darlene? If you want to tell the people who are here that can support you by typing. Yeah, Roxanne is saying, that she's been in chat before, but it's been ages since the last time. So much to catch up on. And read Judy's channel, right? One of her favorites. Such a beautiful family. Absolutely. I want to tell you that I stand in awe of that family. Okay, so yes, please, you'd like to discuss it publicly? Just, I'd want to double check that's what you're saying. Okay, Darlene. All right, first of all, actually, there are some pains that are just as bad, but I want to tell you that you're talking to somebody who's had their heart ripped out. All right, so just for the replay people, what Darlene told me was, to sum it up, I'm going through a harsh breakup. Is that of your choice or of the other person's choice? Or is it mutual? Okay, the other person made a choice. And does it feel like part of somebody, got inside your rib cage and just ripped your heart out? Does it feel like that? Yeah. With tears in my eyes, I have been there. I have been there more than once in my life. And can I give you one word of advice that I really want to tell you? When I learned this trick, it changed how I dealt with that sort of stuff. The thing that I found out, Darlene, is do not think about why. Do you keep asking yourself? Do you keep asking yourself, why did this happen? Why didn't I see it coming? Why didn't he tell me we were having a problem? Do you understand what I'm talking about? I want to tell you, I wasted years trying to find out those answers, Darlene, and it didn't change a darn thing. So my advice to anybody going through a breakup now is they did what they did. The why really isn't that important. And were you married, Darlene, to this person, or were you in a relationship with this person? And have any of you noticed that no, but we had plans. We were together for 5 years. Okay, so that's a long-term relationship. All right, so Darlene, it's probably part of the why this broke up is because you had plans, right? I've been there as well. I can assure you. Um, so did you love this person? And probably still do. Because if you do, Darlene, I'm going to ask you a very serious question that I'd like you to keep asking yourself. If I genuinely loved this person, I would want him to be happy, even if that is without me. Do you understand my point, Darlene? Yep. So, Darlene, do you love him enough to want him to be happy? Yes. I had a feeling that you would be honest about that, and you were. Yes. Keep reminding yourself that, even if it wasn't with me, but also he betrayed my trust and loyalty. Absolutely. I had the same thing happen to me. And I kept trying to find out the why because I wanted that closure, Darlene. And you know something? I never got it. I never got the true reason why. And that tells me the next bit of advice I want to give you. Be very, very grateful. Be very grateful you found this out now and not after another 5 years and you're married. Right? And this doesn't make him a bad person. This may make this person in your life somebody who didn't want to leave his roots and his friends and his family, that couldn't do that, couldn't, make that shift. They thought they could, but when it's called, okay, Darlene, have you heard about the crisis of commitment? Because if not, I'd like to show you that. Because maybe it'll, okay. So this is called, does commitment have two T's or one? Okay, it's not a spelling test, so you guys know what I'm talking about, all right? So here's what happens, Darlene. Let me try and explain this to you. So here you both are, traveling along this agreed path. And there comes a point in the road that you both have to make a decision, all right? And this is called the crisis of commitment point right here. Can you see that? Where the road divides, some serious decision has to be made. So what happened was when the person in your life got to this crisis of commitment, he thought everything was fine until he reached that point where he had to make that decision. Am I making any sense here, Darlene? And what happened when he got to the crisis point, he decided to turn back. Now, in some cases, people will reach the crisis of commitment point and they will go in two completely different directions. I'm getting new pens. Or you can both end up, right, continuing down this new path. So I had it happen to me, for example, Darlene, when I had to make a major decision recently. And I thought I was going to do something until I got to that crisis. He promised you. Okay, so Darlene, I want to give you a big hug. Okay, honey, let me tell you something really sad in life, that just because people promise you things does not mean it necessarily will happen. And that can mean that at the time they meant it. right? At the time, they could really have meant it, Darlene. But when they hit the crisis of commitment point, they realized that they weren't ready. They thought they were ready. That doesn't make them a bad person. It makes them somebody who didn't realize they weren't ready. So if you loved him at all, wish him well and let him go. Not just physically, but mentally, let him go. Do not spend the next 5 years crying your heart out for something that you haven't got. Because it is my belief, Darlene, that you deserve somebody in your life that wants you 100%. Yes, you're saying that he ended up telling you that he loved you, but here's the thing. Is it possible to love somebody and still hurt them? Honey? I think it is, I think it is possible that he loved you enough to tell you the truth. Be grateful. In my case, they never told me the truth. I never did find out. You're right? So really, if you can understand the crisis of commitment, then you will be able to make more sense of it. But here is the thing that I really want you to be aware of. Whenever you hear yourself say, why, whatever, go, who cares why he did? Do you think you can do that? So Darlene, then be twice as glad that you found out now. Because with all due respect, Darlene, anybody who can do that, that's not somebody you want in your life, really, honey. It might have been good fun at the time, but anybody who can do that really is not who you really need, right? So I'd give thanks. I really would. I would give thanks that you found out when you did. It might not be easy, and you may need to lick your wounds for a while, but you do deserve, I believe. I really do believe you deserve better than that. Of course it hurts so much. Now, Darlene, do you believe that you will eventually stop hurting? Another question, do you understand the cycle of loss? Okay, so you do believe that you will eventually stop hurting. Good, that's a good thing. There's hope. I like that. Okay, cycle of loss. Heard about that? Okay, so this is really important to understand because it sounds easy, and I want to show you where it gets a bit messed up, okay? So first of all, the first thing in this circle of loss or the cycle of loss is denial. You've probably been through that. And that would be when you first heard that he wanted to break up, you go, I can't be hearing this. Can you remember that moment? This can't be happening to me right now. Right? So that's the first thing that happens, right? Then the next one, you probably know this one quite well, is anger. You know that one well, right? And by the way, the broadcast I was doing at lunchtime today, Darlene, when you really get honest with yourself, and this might take a while, yeah, it's very traumatic. Where does it get you? Does getting angry at him bring him back, by the way? Does getting angry at him change anything other than keep you in trauma. Exactly, gets you nowhere. But understand it's part of the cycle, right? It's okay to feel it because it's part of the cycle. Got that clear in your head? He broke up through a text. Yeah, very, very, very courageous person. All right, so now you've got this one. After the anger comes the sadness. I got a feeling you're in that now. Okay? Yes, exactly, Roxanne World. I agree with you. Maybe he loved her to the best of his ability. Yeah. Yes, and that's the whole thing. I'm sure that he did. He did his best. He just, unfortunately, didn't have quite the character that Darlene needed. All right, so Darlene, we've been through denial, anger. Now you're in sadness. Okay, thank you for that honesty. Darlene said after she got the text, all right, I never replied again. I feel so numb. Yeah. Do you know why you feel numb? In a way, be grateful because you feel so betrayed. Yes. How could anybody do that, right? To another human being. I would, in a way, be grateful for the numb for the time being. Darlene, when we get into incredible pain, we quite often do go numb. It's quite normal. Do you know that? You're saying I'm lost without him. I would like to say that is not true, but you feel like you are lost without him, right? Because you spoke to him every day and he ended things so dramatically. Yes, and I think Roxanne is really doing a great job of understanding the balance here. Just remember that if he could have done better, he would have done better. Right, especially after 5 years, Darlene is saying, and to end it through a text. That was harsh. We all agree with you. We all agree, but maybe he didn't know how else to do it and survive. He knew it was bad, Darlene. So can we finish this so you can understand it? Because I think you're sort of between anger and sadness, right? Oh, he knew he messed up. Yes, Darlene, no doubt about it. He's got to live with it. Okay, so after sadness, you will start moving upwards again and you start getting into acceptance. All right. And then you start moving on again to the next stage of your life. So it helps if I could spell. Okay, so what I want you to understand about this, do you understand that it's got all these bits in it? There are more actually. This was all documented by an incredible writer, Jody. If you can remind me to put up the contact name for the lady who dealt with death. And that sounds terrible, but her name is Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, and she did some incredible work on the cycle of loss and what happens. There are actually about 7 parts to it, Darlene. And if you can understand it is perfectly normal for you to go through each of these, then you know you're not going insane. And what I want to warn you of, and the reason I wanted to draw this for you, is I wanted to warn you of something. The fact that you're in sadness does not mean you won't go back to anger or even back into denial. It is possible. It is possible that you will go back into denial for a while. And you'll keep sort of like traveling between these, Darlene, until your mind has got it all worked out and that you are desensitized to the pain. And then you will find that the reason you're numb is you went into sadness, but the sadness was so deep for you, you needed to go back to being angry. Does this make any sense? Hi, Jamie. And so what I want you to do is to understand something. Do you know how to contact me? I'm going to have Jody put up the contact information because I encourage you to please, all right, Jody's going to put up how to get hold of me. Whenever you want to, write to me and tell me what you're feeling, and I will try and work through it with you. Okay? Because I want you to know you are not alone in this. Everybody goes through this. If you talk to, I'm not sure if Nana is still here. Nana will tell you that some of us have had this cycle go on when we lost a puppy. Oh, it's a pleasure, Darlene. It's why we do the work we do here. That's exactly why we're here, is to help people through the tough times. The reason I started this, Darlene, was I really believed that there needed to be somewhere where people could go. Ah, honey. I love you for being brave enough to come and talk about this. Because it takes such courage to talk about something that hurts this much. And believe me, I know. Okay? So do you understand? You're just going to flip between these emotions for a while. I can't tell you for how long, Darlene. It depends how much control you want to give him. Because if you want to give him total control of your life, I know some people that never got over it. They chose to carry on with the anger and the sadness and the denial. And they just kept going backwards and forwards. But you and I've got a feeling you already know that's not really a very wise thing to do. It's okay to be in denial, quite normal. It's okay to be angry, quite normal. It's okay to be sad, quite normal. Okay, let me read this. Something special happened to me today. I had the strength to ask a stranger to please pray for me. I believe in God and his power of healing. Jody, make a note. Let's put out some prayers for Darlene after the broadcast, please. Very brave, Roxanne. I agree. To actually come on to a broadcast like this and talk about this takes huge courage. And I want to tell you that there are different people in the chat right now who've been through different sorts of loss. All right. And the pattern is the same. Right? The pattern is the same. How long we stay in each of these is something that we do. Hi, Derpy. Well, bless you for trusting me. Darlene, it's something. I part of me wants to say it's a pleasure, but it is not a pleasure for me to be talking about this with you, because I know how painful this is. A lot of people know how painful this is, and whether it's the loss of a relative, I've got one viewer at the moment who waited a lifetime to meet their biological grandfather. And then suddenly found out that they've just literally met them this year, and now found out they're dying of cancer. So do you understand that person is going through the cycle of loss as well? Some people will go through it because they were beautiful, and then they have a catastrophic injury that ends up scarring them for life. That is a cycle of loss. They will go through the same stuff. See, when you understand, it is not forever. It is until we accept it. When you can accept it and start moving on, you will start healing. How long that takes, Darlene, I cannot tell you. But I do know that there are an awful lot of people here that will be only too happy to support you. And if you would like that to happen, feel free to write to me and let me have your email. And I will try and set up that you can talk to some people if you would like to do that. All right? Other people who've been through stuff that can relate with you. Because the most important thing to do is actually talk it out. Okay, so Derpy's saying, no offense, but I'm not sure why I'm here, but I like it. You know, Derpy, welcome. we don't really mind how you accidentally came in here. Welcome. And, you know, isn't it strange that what I said we were going to do today was to laugh, and we ended up on something so sad? But you see, that is what is so magical about doing what we do. Because I always start with one intention, and I then trust that the world will take, you know, us in the direction we need to go. Darlene, I want you to really be aware that what you did in terms of coming in and talking about this is probably a major step forward for you. And just know that we will be praying for you. And I don't know if you're on Messenger or anything like that, but you know, give us whatever contact you would like to do this by, and we will find you people that care. That's what we do. You know, we take this as a very important part of our work. Yeah, Isabel's saying funny because I didn't feel like laughing tonight, but I came anyway. You know something, Isabel? I didn't particularly feel like laughing tonight either. But you know, it's where we started. And I always am a great believer. Where it needs to go is where it will go. And sometimes it'll be way away from the topic. And that's okay with me. Because I believe, and I've said this many times, my job is to show up. You have I have a nice headset. Yes, I do. It's a gamer headset, isn't it? Darlene, it means so much because why? Because somebody cares, or because you needed a friend. You needed somebody to understand. Think about why it means so much to you. What I do know is that, you know, we have an incredible group of viewers, and sometimes they're going through good times and sometimes they're not. I also have always said, Darlene, that the people who need to find us, Derpy, the people who need to find us will. Right. So now you don't feel alone. You needed a friend. Yes. And to me, that's the greatest compliment you can pay me, Darlene, is to know that I would be a friend. Well, that's very cute. And Darlene says, I have family and my best friend, but I feel like you have wisdom. Wisdom comes from more pain than you want to deal with, Darlene. Does that make sense? The wisdom doesn't come because I'm more intelligent. The wisdom comes from being there, done that, got a few t-shirts, and survived it, Darlene. And sometimes I really have to tell you, in all honesty, I didn't think I would ever get over that betrayal. All right, and Roxanne saying me, it was the right thing to do, clicking on the live stream thumbnail. Thank you so much, all right? Yes, and that's a very good point. Jody is saying, Darlene, this broadcast will be available for the replay so you can hear the supportive words anytime you need them. You know, Darlene, I don't think I'm the best at all. But what I do know is if you need help, honey, you know who to write to, right? And look at this, you know. Hi, Lupita. Is it Lupita? Did I pronounce that correctly? Welcome. Yes, because, you know, Darlene, it's really important to vent. It's really important that you know, allow yourself to be angry. Now, Darlene, if ever you lose it, do you know how to find it again? If you lose my contact information, do you know how to find it again? Because it's there all the time for you if you want it. If you can remember Dear Mama Sal and put .com after it. All right, DearMamaSal.com. Got that? One of the tabs on my blog page is contact. Just as long as you spell it this way. Okay? All right. And one of the tabs at the top of my webpage is contact me. And or something like that. And so you can just click on there. And it gives you my email address, it gives you my mailing address, all those sort of things you might want, all right? But what you want is my email address so that you can get hold of me. And if you're going through a really tough time, let me know that. And if you've got a messenger name, let me have that as well, so that I can put you on my messenger list. And that means if you need to some support at the strange time, as long as I'm awake, I will do what I can to help you. Right. So Roxanne's saying, I do sub to the channel, but so many subscriptions. Yes, I understand that. Got to click on the video right away. Well, you know something, Derpy? I don't think I'm the best at all. I think that this group of people is an awesome group of people. I honestly believe that I am the spokesperson for a group of truly caring people. So this is not all about me. I'm just the big noise at the front end, if you get my drift. My job is to be here so that there's somewhere for everybody to come. That's how I see it. My job is to, in whatever way I can, is to teach everybody that I can what I have learned so far. All right, now, Darlene. All right. Darlene, listen up, young lady. All right, so Darlene's saying, thank you, and a heart. And Mama Sal, I don't want to take up the whole live chat, but honestly, you've been of much help. I will try my best to email you about my progress. There's more to the story. All right, Darlene, look me in the eyes right now. Don't you dare try your best. You email me. There's a difference. To try means you probably won't. And I'm saying to you, don't do that to yourself. You deserve some support. So email me. And know one thing, Darlene, I've got a particularly busy couple of days coming up. But here is the reality. The reality is, no, I will always get back to you as soon as I can. And if I haven't got back to you within 2 days, I probably missed it. All right? And therefore, if I have missed it, you need to remind me. Excuse me, Mama Sal, type again. You forgot to reply to me. And I go, oh, short word. And because it happens, and I've just got a very busy few days coming up, but that doesn't mean I don't want to get your email, because that's really important to me. Okay? So you understand that business between try. If anybody says to you, you say to somebody, okay, so shall we meet up on Friday? Well, I'll try. Just say to them, I just want yes or no. Don't tell me you're going to try. That's not solid enough for me. If somebody says to me, I'll try, I say, okay, then I'll just pencil it in. I won't put it in on ink, All right, so Derpy's making an interesting point, saying that a pet is very helpful to have to reduce the stress or anxiety. I think before she gets a pet, though, Derpy, she needs to be able to get through the worst of this. You can finally Rest peacefully tonight. Darlene, I hope so. But if you can't, I understand you're just in the cycle, honey. You will get through this. And you do deserve better than this. You are so right to be angry. You did not deserve this. And the chances are you did nothing to bring it on. It's actually not about you. All right? If you that is what I want you to see. This isn't that you did anything wrong. This is about, bless his heart, he did his best, but he just couldn't do it. Doesn't mean he didn't love you. He just couldn't do it. And I had, such a similar situation. That's why I relate to how painful it is. It was just like, I want to tell you, if I had a buck for every time I said why, I would be a very rich person. And you know something, Darlene? Didn't help me one bit. Didn't help me one tiny bit. All right, that's a good piece of advice as well. Roxanne is saying, don't be afraid to scream into a pillow. All right. It's, I literally went down to the seashore. I don't know how far you are from the seashore, but or a forest, go somewhere way into nature. I went down to the seashore and I screamed. You probably, if anybody had heard me, they would have rushed ambulances to come get me. But, I screamed. I was in that much pain. And it's not the first time in my life, Darlene. I've had a couple of real doozies, I can tell you. And I know I can't take the pain away. You screamed, of course you did, Jenny. Yeah. Yeah. And that's okay. It probably saved you from having a heart attack. You understand that part of this is the reason I want you to write to me is I want you to get as much of this down on an email or something as you possibly can, because then we can start putting those bits into different places and get better understanding about them. And some of them we won't even bother with, but some of them you might have the greatest lessons of your life in here. And maybe some really, as we work through some of these, Darlene, we also will find out some things that you can probably see now that you ignored before, that next time you won't be ignoring. May I ask how old you are? Like 20s, 30s, 40s? What sort of age group are you in? Darlene saying, I think it was the toughest pain I've been through in my whole life. This is the man I loved and wanted my future with. Yeah, I had the same thing. You're in your 20s, okay. It's tough. Tough. But you know something, Darlene? I for some reason, I am not that worried for you. Any person who has the ability to come onto this chat and talk the way that you have done, that means you actually are an incredibly brave and courageous human being. Hi, Stephanie. Good to meet you. Stephanie, Darlene was going out with a guy for 5 years, and they were about to get married, and he suddenly bailed on her without reason. So, Darlene, you think you get it from your mom, all right? So, has your mom been through terrible emotional pain? Because if she has, I'm sure that she will. Worse, she's been through worse. Yeah, why did I have a feeling that that would be true? So she understands at a deep level. And she also is probably feeling so helpless, Darlene, that she can't take the pain away from you. All right. So I want you to be aware of that. All right. And if you see that sort of glazed look in her eyes, just literally say the words and go, Mum, I know if you could help me get rid of this pain in a heartbeat, you would do that. And it's okay. I just need to work my way through this, and I will. And I will come out a stronger and better person the other side. It just will take a little while. But thank you for being here for me. I think you'll find that any of the regulars to the broadcast, Darlene, will tell you that, a number of them have vented to me like you cannot believe. And you probably will be surprised to hear, Darlene, that I have vented to them privately on stuff that I'm going through. You see, that's what friends do. And we will not judge you for being in pain. We will not judge you for being angry. We're just so sad for you that you have to go through this, because nobody should have to go through this. But life sucks sometimes. I think Bill Gates once said, life is not easy. It's a fact. And, there's one thing I will say for you, Darlene, that I want you to remember, please. Just because this guy did this to you doesn't mean the next one will. Do you know what I'm saying? Don't judge the rest of your relationships on this one. I want you to see this as a passing learning moment, so that the next one that's going to be right for you is closer to you. You just haven't seen that person yet, or maybe you have. So Tyler's saying, indeed, this broadcast has gotten me through some times. That's for sure. Yeah, Darlene, it's hard to believe, isn't it, that you will fall in love again. I know. But we will help you understand that. We will help put, the way that the whole of your mirror has broken into pieces. We will help you put those pieces back together again. And whether you want to do that publicly or privately, we will find ways to help you. Okay, let me understand what you're saying here, Roxanne. I didn't see the front end of that. Let me scroll back. Get a change of scenery if possible. The last big breakup, scraped together what I could, claimed my work vacation days and took off to Mexico. Not normal for me. Saved dollars by staying at hostels. Yes, and then she went on to say, meaning youth hostels, a great resource, hosteling international and private ones. Great to get away if ever young. I actually think you will find that she will find her own way, Roxanne, and the way that she needs to do it. I noticed you didn't say try this time, Darlene. You learn quickly, my girl. Have faith, Darlene. Yes, Stephanie, I agree. Have faith. This is really important. And all I need you to do, Darlene, is to, we all wish that it would all be better for you tomorrow. I'm not going to say that because I don't think that will be true. But what I do know is you will work your way through this. And you will, in your own way, find your own answers, and we will hold your hand along that way. And you will get angry with us, and you will also find great support from us. There are people in this room that have been through the most tragic situations, and they understand. And I am amazed how many people came in to support you. And I thank all of you who don't normally pop into the broadcast that came in today. I thank you all for being here, because it is wonderful to see this sort of support. So, Roxanne, in case we never see you again, what's your other idea? Well, I know this might sound strange, Darlene, but I think everybody in the room will thank you for your bravery and for giving them the chance to give you that support. Because I think every one of us here feel that there is no greater gift we can give than to be able to hold your hand through this. And hopefully, Darlene, that you in your own time, no rush, will do the same for somebody else that comes in here. Because that's what we found. Some people will come and we'll give them the support and then we never see them again. But others come, get the support, and then go, wow, I know what a difference it made in my life. Tyler, how long ago did I meet you? Wow, a long time ago. But it's like, and people come in and out of the program. Some people will be here for all the time, and some people you will see occasionally, and you will get to know them in your own time. And I will assure you that there will not be a broadcast where you will not learn something, because I want to tell you, I learn something in every broadcast. So therefore, unless you are a know-it-all, you will probably find that you learn something every broadcast. You can do this, Darlene, and it will be sore, but it will get less sore. By the way, that's Nolene, right? By the way, Darlene, if you've had a 5-year relationship, understand one reality that I want to just give you a heads up on. The first of everything that's coming up is going to be the most difficult to cope with. Your first Valentine's Day, the first Christmas, the first without him are going to be a little challenging. And that's quite normal. The second one will still hurt, but it'll be less challenging. And that's the way you need to see that this will hurt, and it may hurt for a while. Wow, that's interesting. Stephanie is saying, I've been in and out since your first videos, really. Every one you've posted so far has made some impact on my life. Wow. Well, then, I guess I better continue doing it, Stephanie, because I've always said if it makes a difference in one person's life, if one video I do helps one person, then it was worth doing. and so from the bottom of my heart, thank you for that, because to me it really is. Then I always say that if it helped one person, it was worth spending the time. And Darlene's saying, I pop up every once in a while and I've heard some stories. Thank you, Mama Sal. I'll be heading to bed now, but I will for sure message you. You notice how this has changed from I'll try to I will and now for sure. Right? Good stuff, Darlene. You're learning very quickly. Thank you all for the whole room. I also want to thank the whole room for the support. And thank you for helping us do the work that we do. I've always said there is a need for this in the world, and we are here to try and do our little bit. That old story of the starfish, right? If you throw one starfish back, it's not going to change the world, but it sure changes the world for that one starfish. So the most important thing is that we look after each other as best way that we can. And Darlene, you have made an impact on our lives today. And we admire your courage for being able to talk about it and thereby feel better. And I think a lot of people need to remember that if you are hurting, finding a safe person to talk to about it is really important, because what happens is you will feel better. One thing I want to find out, Darlene, do you feel at risk in any way? I just want to be clear on that in my mind before you go, if you're still here. Because I would ask you that if at any time you feel at risk, okay, at the moment, Darlene, but here's what I want you to do. I want you to make sure you've got a risk number, a risk line number somewhere where you can get to it in a hurry if you need it. You know, if you can't get to your mom and you can't get to me, make sure you have got that risk line close, and don't be afraid to use it. They're good. All right. And it doesn't mean you're weak or stupid. It means you're smart. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not one of weakness, Darlene. Okay. So please promise me, if you wouldn't mind, that before you go to sleep, you'll make sure you've got that risk number and you stick it on your computer or on your phone. And don't ever feel embarrassed to feel what you're feeling. Yeah, I agree, Stephanie. So all of you, thank you so much for helping Darlene and thereby helping so many others. Thank you all. You know something, Tyler, even if she were a troll, and I don't think she is, you know, she's still welcome. You got to remember that Ozzy was a troll. You've got to remember that, Ty. Ozzy came to troll me originally. Yeah, Lordy. And for those of you who know Ozzy, you are all laughing. And for those of you who don't know Ozzy, you're going, who the is Ozzy? And one day you will hear all about him. So I've always said that you'll find what you need when you need it. So this is good. No, it's okay, Darlene. We didn't think that you were a troll. It's just Tyler messing with your brain. So my big hugs to you all. Remember to look after one another, everybody. But as usual, please also remember looking after yourself is really important. Okay. And Darlene, what you did today was to look after you. And well done. By the way, he still lives, Tyler. I actually had a WhatsApp conversation with him recently. The guy is such an idiot. And, you know, all these years later, he still makes me laugh till I cry. And that, what a nice memory. So all of you, big hugs. Look after one another, please, please, please. And some of you that want to help Darlene, let me know, please, so that I can give those contact names to her if she wants to contact you. And the other thing is, be gentle with yourselves. Remember this crisis of commitment. Remember that pain is very personal and everybody deals with it in their own way. And it's okay to talk about it. This is DearMamaSal saying thank you for being here. Thank you for believing that it is possible to do this work. Bye-bye for now.